Hello, I'm John Tatry, and I'm going to read you a little bit of Peace by Chocolate. When the chartered plane left the tarmac in Beirut, bound for Amman, Jordan, it was the first time Tarek had ever been airborne. A few hours later, he boarded his second flight and looked out the window as the plane flew over the Mediterranean Sea and headed for the Atlantic Ocean. He shifted excitedly in his seat, his mind buzzing, imagining the possibilities that lay ahead of him. He could finally finish his medical studies and become a physician. He could get a humanitarian job with an NGO. Or maybe he could become something entirely new. He also thought of the family he left behind. When he looked out the rounded windows, he saw their anxious eyes. Looking around the plane's interior, he spotted a Syrian man a few rows in front of him. The man seemed to radiate anxiety. When it was safe to unbuckle his seatbelt, Tarek bent his tall frame and went up the aisle to talk to the man. Like Tarek, he was bound for resettlement in Canada. He could speak neither English nor French and didn't know anybody in Canada. He had no cell phone, and so he was cut off from the people he'd left behind. "I'm afraid," he told Tarek. "I see myself stuck in a situation where I can't communicate, and I'm lost." Tarek crouched beside him and smiled encouragingly. He took out his phone and offered it to the man, telling him that he could find tutorials on YouTube that would help him learn a few English phrases. The man eagerly accepted and was soon repeating in English, "It's beautiful weather out there. It's beautiful weather out there." Tarek returned to his seat. He smiled as he folded himself back. He adjusted his long legs so they wouldn't cause discomfort to the passengers in the seat ahead of him. If you want to receive kindness, you must give kindness, he thought. Tarek had no idea where he was going after he landed in Toronto. As the airplane banked over snowy Labrador, his mind replayed a conversation he'd had with a Canadian official in Lebanon. "Where do you want to stay?" the official had asked him. Tarek had done his research. "MTV," he replied. The official laughed. Tarek clarified. "Montreal, Toronto, or Vancouver." He figured his family, used to living in a big city, would do best in an urban setting, but the official cautioned him. He thought a small town would offer the heads the best chance at building new lives, because they would be more likely to be welcomed into the community. In a big city, no one would notice them. Tarek found the idea intriguing. The airplane approached Toronto Pearson International Airport. With a whir and a bump, the landing gear deployed, and the aircraft bounced onto the runway, slowing to a stop. The pilot's voice crackled onto the speakers, welcoming the passengers to an overcast, chilly December 18th, 2015. Tarek let the front of the plane disembark before he stood up and stretched in the aisle. His phone rang as soon as it connected to the internet. "Toronto now," his mother explained. "How does it feel, my Neil Armstrong?" It was late at night in Lebanon, but Shanaz had been calling her son every hour while he was flying. Hearing his voice after he landed safely in Canada felt to Shanaz like the moment when Viola Armstrong heard her son's voice from the moon. Shanaz and Tarek had a quick, excited chat, and he promised to update her when he got settled. He gathered his things, bent his head, and headed for the exit. The anxious Syrian man was still repeating, "It's beautiful weather out there." Tarek smiled encouragingly. The 214 Syrians slowly passed through customs and collected their luggage. The new Canadians were directed to the airport hotel where they would stay for the night. An immigration official approached Tarek and the anxious Syrian man in the hotel lobby. The man opened his mouth to speak as the official reached them. Tarek realized what he was about to say, too late to stop him. "It's beautiful weather out there," the anxious man blurted out. The official looked at him in astonishment. "Are you serious? It's freezing cold." The man asked Tarek for his phone. He did some quick Googling and then corrected himself. "It's horrible weather out there." Both Tarek and the official burst out laughing. "Okay, you're all set," the official told Tarek. "Your flight will leave tomorrow." "Oh, where?" "To Halifax." "What's Halifax? I want to stay in Canada," Tarek protested. "Halifax is just on the other side of the country. You will find people there who have been waiting for you a long time. They will be very happy to see you," the official assured him. After a sleepless night at the hotel, Tarek boarded another flight and took a seat at the back row. He watched 3 other people take seats on the opposite side of the aisle. They were Syrians. He had no doubt about that. A young man, a young woman, and a child. He recognized the fear lurking in their eyes and smiled at the man. They exchanged greetings in Arabic. The airplane filled with happy travelers, heading home for Christmas on Canada's Celtic east coast. Most were anticipating feasts, fiddles, and family. A voice crackled over the speakers. Tarek prepared to translate the safety instructions for his new friends, but the captain had a very different announcement. "We have very special guests on board," he told the passengers. 4 refugees fleeing the Syrian war for new lives in Canada. Someone let out a cheer near the front of the plane, and it rippled all the way to the back. Soon the passengers were on their feet, clapping, cheering, whistling for the newcomers. Tarek grinned and explained the commotion to the family. They barely seemed able to comprehend what was happening. For years they had lived in fear, worried that their government would kill or imprison them, that rebels would shoot them, or that they would die in a terrorist attack. They'd been made to feel that most of the world didn't want Middle Eastern Muslim refugees. And here was a plane full of Canadians, whooping and hollering, as if the pilot had said Sidney Crosby and Wayne Gretzky were both on board with the Stanley Cup. This is a very sweet moment, Tarek thought.